Thank you for joining us on yet another interesting episode of Lifestyle with Dee, where we discuss matters health. And today we'll be talking about the role of parents in ensuring proper dental hygiene for their children. And we're at the Astra Dental Clinic with Dr. Lucy Mutara, who will be telling us more about that. Thank you, Dr. Lucy, for having us in your clinic.
Welcome.
Yes. Before we start about the role of parents in ensuring proper dental hygiene, tell us about yourself, a bit about yourself, what you do here.
I'm a dentist.
Yes.
I'm a full-time dentist.
Okay.
And I run this clinic. I see patients on a full-time basis, both all age groups. And I usually see families, so I usually see the parents and the children, sometimes even the grandchildren.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So how long have you done this for?
I've done this for over 20 years, but this clinic has been open for about 20 years, for about 4 years.
Okay.
Yes.
And you enjoy what you do?
I love what I do.
Is it something that you always wanted to do? You always knew you were going to work on someone's mouth?
Interestingly, I did not think that I was going to be a dentist.
Yeah.
But when I was in high school, I had to go for many dental visits.
Okay.
So I became aware about dentistry and I became interested. And then when it was time to join the university, I applied for dentistry and here I am.
Wow.
So many years later.
All right. It's a good thing that you're doing. Now, recently there's a survey that was found by the Kenya National Oral Health. It found that Kenyans have a long way to go before they achieve the recommended standards of proper dental hygiene. And, I was looking at our children. Most of the time, parents leave them to do it by themselves, to brush their teeth by themselves. How should a child brush their teeth? I mean, should they be assisted by their parents, and at what age should they start?
You are right to say that we have a long way to go.
Yes.
I was part of the group that was involved in the oral health study.
Okay.
And I remember even I was surprised when the results were released at the time of the launch.
Yes.
And the good habits start early.
Yeah.
So in as much as we have such, bad oral habits, so to speak, it starts from when we are children. Children, as long as there's teeth in the mouth, some cleaning should be going on.
Yes.
Cleaning of teeth should start as early as when children are feeding, even after breastfeeding.
Okay.
A soft cloth should be passed over the children's teeth, just so that you wipe them clean.
Okay.
When children, there are brushes which are available for brushing as soon as teeth appear in the mouth, which are very soft, that any child can use. We say that by the time a child is 7 years old, they should be able to brush by themselves. So if you work backwards, it means that from the age of around, from about 4 months when the teeth first appear in the mouth, from 4 months old to 7 years, it is the parents or the caregiver responsibility to supervise the child. Now each child is different, so you will also need to assess the manual dexterity of your child and see that they can brush well. Of course, visiting the dentist is a good thing because we do have tablets that we used to color. Right now we have pink ones that we color the teeth so that you can see the unbrushed areas, and we use that to train children how to brush. So from when they're young, you should brush their teeth. From when they are around age of 2 years, when you finish brushing their teeth, give them the brush so that they can mimic your movements. Yes. And in fact, even when you should probably do it together so that they can just copy what you're doing. As they grow older, assess how efficient they are. So if you observe them and you find that they only brush the front teeth, you can take the brush and just finish the back teeth. And of course, with lots of praises and telling them well done and you've done well, and make it a routine. Because when children get used to brushing, we recommend brushing twice a day, but the most morning and evening. But the most important time to brush is at night before you sleep, because when you sleep, there's nothing to disturb any bacteria or acid which could be harming your teeth. So a lot of damage happens at night. So we say the evening brush is very important. We say you brush in the morning for social reasons, but you brush in the evening for your dental health. So when the children get used to a routine of brushing at night, they will in fact tell you, "Mommy or Daddy, I've not who've not brushed teeth,
yeah,
because for them
remember.
it's a routine.
Yes.
They do pajamas, sleep, and
Brush.
brush their teeth.
Yes.
And brushing should be the last thing that they do at night.
Yes.
So I'm saying until 7 years, keep an eye on your child, and remember that usually children reach an age when they hit teenage. The habits start to change suddenly.
Yes, yes.
So you might need to pay attention again to their brushing, even if it's just to remind them.
Yeah.
Another little trick that I usually tell parents, children don't know you as a parent how much you know. So if you tell them, when you finish so and so, when you finish brushing your teeth, come and show me.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
they'll be motivated to brush well, because
yeah.
they don't know. You know, you just be saying, through the corridor, oh, have you brushed the back teeth? Have you brushed the inside?
Yes.
They don't know if you as a parent how much you know.
Yes.
So when they say, when you finish brushing your teeth, come and show me, just because they have to report to you and show off,
going to do
they will actually do it and do it well, because children have to be praised. But lots of praises, the right tools are also important, and the right toothpaste is also important.
Yeah, you talked about the pills that show whether you're brushed properly.
Yes.
Do you is it a doctor who has to recommend, as in, or do they have to come to your clinic to just get them, or can they get them anywhere?
The disclosing tablets, as they are called, they'll only be sold through a dentist clinic.
Okay.
So usually what we do, we for training, you don't need more than a week's worth. Yeah. So usually if I find a child who's usually parents will come and report to me and say, so and so really has a challenge of brushing their teeth. Yeah. So I'll sit that child and show them and ask them, or just give them a brush and let them brush the way they normally do. And then I will use that tablet. It's just a coloring, a small tablet the size of like a Piriton, which you dissolve in water. When they rinse, the part that is uncleaned, which is the plaque, it is colored pink. So even then I show them using the camera in the clinic, or I just give them just a plain mirror and they can see. Now from there on, I give the caregiver maybe a pack of 7. This is now for training purposes.
Yes.
Then
training to brush.
Training to brush well, so that for over the next 7 days they'll be brushing and then using the tablet, so that they can become efficient. And usually when they get used, they will usually just take it up. Most children, by the time they've done it for 7 days and you're supervising them, they will now have learned which are the corners which the brush does not normally reach. Yeah. Yes, because the thing is, you remember that nowadays many children are going off to boarding school from even the age of 12. Yeah. So you as a parent, you need to be sure that your child can brush properly. You need to be sure that the child knows what foods to avoid, which foods can cause decay, how they can clean the teeth properly. Some children even have braces by that age of 12, 13, 14.
What happens so that, is it good to have braces at that early age?
Usually for braces, generally, there's 2 types of correction of the way the teeth are not properly aligned. Yeah. So there's basically 2 types. You can have jaws which are not aligned. By that I mean either one jaw is in front, the top jaw is too much ahead, or the bottom jaw is too much ahead. Normally the 2 jaws should be at about the same level. So if it is a problem of the jaws not being the right size, usually treatment is started early, because that is an issue of growth. You have to correct that before the child's face, the bones of the face fully develop. Yeah. So even as early as 3 years, depending, usually from from what your doctor would say, and that is why we recommend that a child be taken to the dentist early. Not that something that can be done, but just so that they can have that initial review. So if it is a problem of the jaws, it has to be corrected early. Yeah. If it is a problem of the teeth, we recommend that all the milk teeth be lost first. Wow. So usually the age of 12, 13, 14, that is a good age where you can commence braces. I know braces have become fashionable now, and I've had children come to me and say, Dr. Lucy, will you put braces? And I have to say, sorry, your teeth are very good. You don't really need them. Yes. So I mean, even as dentists, we sometimes have to resist the pressure, to do braces, which is when they are not necessary. Yeah. So like I was saying, when somebody has braces, it's like you've got an extra line of teeth that you're cleaning. Yes. So if this child had a challenge brushing their own teeth, if you now add something additional, especially with the fixed braces, then what happens is that you get decay because the child now, the teeth have more surfaces whereby plaque can accumulate. The plaque being the white film that forms on the teeth.
Yes.
And remember, the plaque normally comes from saliva. It's not from the teeth. The teeth will make it bulky, but originally plaque comes from proteins in saliva.
Okay, yeah. On the recent, and still on that survey, they found that by the year, with this generation now, by the year 2030, more children will have bleeding gums. Because of even what we eat, what we give them to eat. What is it that can cause bleeding gums, and what foods are safe for the teeth for the children?
Let me say that we in family health, we say that from the age of 2.5 years, a child should be eating from the family pot.
Yeah.
So you have to look at the family pot. What is the family eating? I put my hand up and say that even I sometimes don't eat the right foods. Okay. And if I don't eat the right foods,
yes,
then my child will also not eat the right foods.
Yeah.
So in terms of gum health, it is just mainly a balanced diet. When gums bleed, it is a sign to show that there's irritation of the gums. The gums will be irritated because the plaque builds up just at the margin of the gums, so that it irritates the gum.
Yes.
So bleeding is a sign to tell you, hey, you need to brush well.
Yes.
And usually with many cases of bleeding gums, just pure bleeding gums, all you need to do is to brush well. And usually by the third day, the gums will stop to bleed.
Okay.
And many children, I find, who have the problem of bleeding gums, they are at that age of between 7 years and 12 years. Teeth are coming out and new teeth are coming into the mouth. Every time an old tooth is being lost, there's a bit of soreness on the gums. Every time a new tooth is coming through the gum, there's a bit of soreness. So what do the children do? They avoid to brush the area which is sore. Yes. So I usually advise the parents to get the correct brush, which is the soft brush, so that that brush does not hurt the children's gum. And I will instruct either the children or the parents, brush gently and just brush over and over again. So you don't have to put a lot of force. You just brush it on top, because the plaque which you're cleaning does not become very adherent to the teeth until after 28 and 24 hours have passed. So there's no need to really be scrubbing away. Just gentle brushing is enough.
So even brushing roughly can cause
it can damage teeth. It can also damage teeth.
Okay.
Even more than the gums issue, even if you look at the results of that survey, the decay is the one that is a real problem. Because as soon as we step out of the house, especially when they're young, as soon as we step out of the house, the caregivers, how do they make friends with the toddlers? They by making sweets. Every time they're going out to the neighborhood grocer to get sukuma for the evening, they will not pass a kiosk. And usually you will know, because as a parent, take your child and walk along the path which they walk with the person who they usually spend the day with. And usually the child will stop at the shop where they normally buy sweets. So you will know. And in fact, if you can lift the child up so that they can access the counter, they'll show you exactly which sweet or which biscuit they normally buy. So you don't even have to ask the nanny or normal caregiver what is happening. Just you can spy on your own child. Just walk with them. The children are very honest. These I'm talking about the toddlers, because most by that age, nobody, they've not really had decay and they don't have a problem. So many people are not even aware that a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old can have bad decay. To the point whereby now they even have, until they have pain. And by the time they have pain, the decay is quite advanced. And that is what now, when you open the child's mouth, you will see this like a big hole in the tooth, or you will see like a pimple at the side of the gum, usually indicating that is where pus is coming through. So infection has eaten through the tooth and is now trying to find its way out. So usually at that point is when the child, and for some reason, children's teeth are not as painful as grown-up teeth. Children's teeth can decay to quite a large extent without the child ever complaining of pain. So if you're a parent who does not brush the child's teeth, you don't check the child's mouth, you might yes. I mean, parents come to the clinic to be surprised. Yes, and as a dentist, I just think, you should have been checking them at least every week.
Yes.
I say set a time aside, even if it's a 7-8-year-old, every Sunday you can make sure you supervise them.
Yeah.
So you see now the bleeding comes, or maybe the child might have a swelling. Those are now the things that now, by that point, you not only need to stop the pain, usually with antibiotics, you need to give a painkiller, and then then you can do treatment for that tooth.
Okay.
Because it is important to maintain those baby teeth.
All right.
They keep the space for the permanent teeth.
Okay. Great. We'll take a short break, but when we come back, we'll be talking more about what toothpaste for the kids to use, what toothbrush should they use. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Lifestyle with Dee. We're talking about proper dental hygiene for your children. And Dr. Lucy Mutara is explaining to us what we should check, how to supervise your child when they're brushing their teeth. Let's get to the toothpaste, because many parents as well, as much as they are not concerned, or they don't supervise, you'll find a child going to just use the normal toothpaste that we use as adults. Is it safe for a child to use that one, or do they have to use the baby toothpaste?
It is important that the child uses the baby toothpaste.
Yes.
But the thing for as a parent, you must, the only thing you need to confirm is whether your child is still swallowing toothpaste or not.
Oh, okay.
At the toddler stage, most children will tend to swallow the toothpaste. In fact, let me step back a bit. The amount of toothpaste you're using is the size of a pea. So the amount needs to be small.
Yes.
Remember the ingredients, the active ingredients you need, the fluoride, the calcium, the phosphates, you need them in submicroscopic amounts. This is sizes below what the microscope can do. So even like a spot still will contain a lot of the particles that you need for the teeth.
Yes.
So a small amount, very small amount is enough. In fact, for a toddler, a pea is too big. So you just smear the toothbrush.
Yes.
Because that age they will eat the toothpaste.
Swallow, yeah.
Yes, and then so as a parent, ask yourself: is my child still swallowing toothpaste or not? For this one reason, the content of fluoride. Adult size in Kenya, in Kenya we recommend, and in most countries. In this country, we use fluoridated toothpaste.
Yes.
Because fluoride has been shown scientifically to reduce tooth decay by up to 50%.
Yes.
But that is cut the amount of decay in half. And in as much as we have high fluoride in drinking water, which is a totally different problem,
Yes.
there is still many areas whereby there's not enough fluoride in the water. If you look at the recommended toothpaste, it is usually about between 1 and 1.23 parts per million. This is adult toothpaste. Children's toothpaste, up to the age of between 6 years and 12, it is half.
Okay.
Between the age of 2 and 6 is half again. Below that age is the milk toothpaste. It is half again. So you reduce the amount of fluoride as you come down, because you do not also want to get to get into the problem of fluorosis.
Yes.
And because fluoride is a body poison.
Yeah.
So you don't want the child to ingest poison. The fluoride, too much fluoride when they are young. This is why we recommend the children's toothpaste. But if you have a 7-year-old who does not swallow toothpaste, and for sure you have sat down and had that discussion, there is no reason why they cannot use your own toothpaste.
And then about the water, should they use warm or cold water
to brush?
Does it matter?
Actually,
because some people say hot water makes your teeth brown, and it contributes to.
Let me tell you, you should not. This is for brushing.
Yes, for brushing.
The only time when you should use water during the whole time of brushing is when you're rinsing your toothbrush.
Rinsing the toothbrush.
Yes.
When
you are brushing your teeth,
okay,
you should take a clean brush, dry brush, apply toothpaste, and go straight into the teeth, into the mouth.
Yes.
You have saliva in the mouth. You brush the teeth, and then when the mouth gets full of foam, because it will get full,
yes,
you spit, continue brushing until all the brushing is done.
Really?
toothpaste is not just soap.
Yes.
It is a soap and a conditioner.
Okay.
So when you rinse your mouth after brushing, what you're doing, you're removing the calcium, you're removing the fluoride, you're removing the phosphates, all the ingredients that have been put in there to condition the surface of the teeth. Because there's an element during the day as you're eating different things, there's now a challenge to the surface of your tooth.
Yes.
So what the toothpaste does, it does micro repair. But then if this micro repair is you're going to brush for maybe a minute or 2 minutes, and then you rinse, then you have not, it is like using fabric softener and rinsing again, or using leaving conditioner on the hair and rinsing it again. Yes. So, and for 15 minutes, one should not eat or drink anything.
Oh, okay.
I always tell people, toothpaste should be the last thing in your mouth at night.
Okay. Do children, are they affected by things such as mouth ulcerations and abscesses? It's abscesses.
Yes.
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 Are they affected? And
they are
what
affected.
is the treatment for that, and what brings about such?
You have two types of ulcers, basically.
Yes.
There is ulcers that are just, they run within the family.
Yes.
This will run even into adulthood, whereby they are usually nice round thing, ulcers that you will see either on the lip or on the floor of the mouth. So when they raise the tongue, you will see an ulcer, and normally they are very painful.
Yeah, they are.
And those ones are normally treated with a pain relieving gel. There's many in the market, something that contains a local anesthetic. Like lignospan. Okay. And so there's that type of ulcers. But then there's the other ulcers that might be caused by food. Maybe you find a sharp bone in the food. Now those ones will be irregularly shaped. Yes. But the treatment is the same. Okay. So if your child is prone to ulcers, what you need to do is reduce the acidic foods. The chili, because you will find that they cannot stand the chili, they not stand the drinks, fizzy drinks that have acidic, because that will make it painful. But they just need to avoid for the time of the ulcers.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, before we wrap up, maybe you can finalize by telling us just little simple dental tips for to have good teeth when you're growing up.
Yes. Thank you for this opportunity. Yes. And here at Astra Dental, we like to say that when we see you, we treat what we have, and then from there on we should not have any new disease. Okay. How do we manage to do this? Over 90% of dental disease is preventable. Good toothbrushing and the correct diet. So if you get in there, especially with the children, and get in there and tell them what are the harmful things. First of all, show them how to brush well, and show them the right toothbrush, the right toothpaste. You have half the battle is won. Dental gum disease in adults, it's at 90%, even over. Even as with that latest study of the Kenya, the National Oral Health, it is over 90%. If I remember correctly. Yes. So if you get the child brushing well, then by the time they get to adulthood, they will tend to continue that. The other thing is tooth decay. We have had this issue. When I was going to the dentist when I was young, we were always told don't eat sweets. And I remember I used to think to myself, how do you tell me? How do you tell me not to eat sweets? So we have styled up a bit nowadays as dentists. We say, we look at the source of sugar and then how do you deal with it? Yeah. Generally speaking, you should not have more than 3 sources of sugar in a day. Count your sugar in your juice, your sugar in your tea, your sugar in your milk, your sugar in the fruit. Yeah. You should not have more than 3 sugar hits per day. Wow. So if it's a meal, if you sit down for breakfast and you have tea in your sugar and your fruit, that is 1 meal. So you can count that as 1. Yes. So it is the frequency of sugar intake. You must not take it more than 3 different times during the day. Yeah. Why? Because when you take sugar, the saliva flowing in the mouth, it will wash away whatever acid. So no damage will happen. But if you have the sugar, and then you have about an hour later you have another sweet, about an hour later you have another sweet, it means the spikes of acids are like this. There's not enough time. There's more acid being formed than saliva to wash away. Yes. That is now how you get to decay. These things are very important for our nutrition. Okay, some more important than others.
Oh, yeah.
Others, like the chocolate, they make us feel good. So you can't really tell somebody, don't eat chocolate.
Yeah.
But I always say, if you eat a sticky food, like a chocolate or a toffee, then you must brush. You must brush, that out. If you eat something that maybe like hard sweets, so it's the kind of sweet that you suck, it means that nothing will have really attached onto the surface of the tooth. So if you rinse your mouth after, you are perfectly fine. Yeah. Then, which brings us now to the drinks. If you have a soda, for example, or a juice, which most, especially, let me talk about fizzy drinks, including even beer, in a fizzy drink, you must realize that it is carbon dioxide that is dissolved in a drink to make it fizzy. So it makes a weak acid. Yes. That weak acid can directly harm the teeth. Yes. So every time you have a fizzy drink, what happens is that the surface of the teeth becomes soft. So you must not brush your teeth. You just rinse your mouth. Yes. Yes. And that followed, you will avoid most dental disease. You will be coming to the dentist maybe for your annual cleaning just to say hello, which is what we like.
How many times should you just come for a checkup in a year?
We say once a year. There's different people would say 6 months. Yes. We say 1 year, 2 years. But for me, with my clients, what I say is, when I first see you, I ask, when is the last time when you were in the dentist? Then I can assess how frequently you need to come. Yes. If you look like you have something that I need to review, I will explain it to you, and then I will recall you within a period of maybe 3 months, 6 months, or a year, depending on what the concerns are. Yes. The more I get to know you and your oral habits and see how your mouth behaves, then also then if I'm sure that you're able to take care of your teeth well, I have patients that I see even after 2 years, because I know there's nothing, but those are few. I can tell you, most people on a 1 year recall. Okay. Yes, but if somebody has something active, some gum disease or some tooth decay that's starting and then you've not filled it, and you just want to keep an eye on it, then you might tell them, just come by for 15 minutes. In 6 months, I'll have a look. But I would say once a year at least is good enough. Okay. Yes, and remember that you want to keep your teeth for life. I always say, as religious as you are to go and get your nails done, to get your hair done, remember that to get your teeth done. True. Yes, because your hair, you will cut it. You don't have to be, and it will grow again. And you have no teeth. Yes, but your teeth, you will have a challenge. Brush socially in the morning, brush for yourself at night. Yes. The right toothpaste, a soft brush even for grown-ups, and the children, keep an eye on them, supervise them. If children are very clever. Yeah, if they know you're not checking, they will not do it. Yeah. And keep an eye on the boys, especially when they close school. They also tend to close the business of toothbrushing. So when it's school holidays, make sure that you also remind them that it's cool that's on holiday, but the general hygiene, and that's not on holiday. Yes, that has to go on. Thank you, Dr. Lucy, for having us and giving us all that information. I'm sure someone there has learned about the proper dental hygiene. Thank you for joining us on Lifestyle with Dee. Do give us your feedback on our SMS line 20058 and my Twitter handle @DDMyers. Stay tuned for more programming.